Wuthering Ways has been out for maybe a month when this video releases, and we are blessed with many new designs, and I want to talk about them. These are my opinions, and this is meant to be a casual video, so please don't take it too seriously. Let me know who your favorite Wuwa design is in the comments. Psst, might contain story spoilers. Okay, I know half of you likely clicked on this video for this guy. His design got changed less than a week into the game's release. I personally found it hilarious to where I made a YouTube short about it. Rip the onigiri pants, we will miss you. Now, the rest of his design I actually don't mind. The white, red, and black color palette is a nice one. I especially like how there's a red under dye in the hair. That's cool. As funny as the pants were, I do think the change was the right choice. It was a little distracting before. I think it was a good call to make his boots red to help balance all the red at the top of the design. Overall, not bad. I think he's cool, and story-wise, he's proven to be a really interesting character. I really can't wait to know more about him. My gosh, she is so pretty, but can we dial down the booba physics on this one? The black hair that fades into teal, the black dress covered by a white jacket, the boots, this feels like a complete design. The gold highlights are a nice touch to help break the black and white colors in the outfit, not to mention she has this super cool pet thing. Her back design is intricate with the hair as well, making her one of my favorites to roam around the overworld with. The only downside for me is Wuwa has a color palette they love that Baiji unfortunately falls into along with the rover. You'll see what this palette is as it's going to show up a lot in this video, and I'm going to be bringing it up. Poor Alto, another victim of the black, white, and gold palette. Even so, he's pretty good looking, I must say. He's one of the few characters that wears his terminal across his chest and not back, which is a nice touch that helps him stand out. He's got his glasses, which make him unique, and I gotta admit, he does look pretty without them on. I'm just saying, okay? Though again, I feel like his design isn't that memorable. We've got the black used for his outfit underneath, and then the white coat on top, with the gold as the accent beneath that white coat. Thankfully, his character has a more unique personality that helped him stand out more in the story. I just wished his design was a bit different from the rest of the cast. Huh? Do you hear that? I don't really have much to say, except the Wuwa team made sure those abs were present. Wow. This game has just started, and she is almost maxed out on my account. Please leave me alone, Ticia! I've never been a fan of the updo hairstyle going on, but that's a personal preference of mine. The rest of her design I think suffers from being too asymmetrical. We've got white fabric on one arm, black fabric on the other arm, oh, and one leg, and one side of her shirt, oh, and white on the opposite side of that shirt where the black fabric on the arms are. It just feels like it was randomly put together. The red parts of her outfit that match her hair are the only things tying her outfit together, little as it is. Asymmetrical designs can be super cool, but it feels like there wasn't a decided theme for Chicia, and actually I found out a little later after the script was written that Chicia used to have black hair, so I'm glad that they changed her to have red hair because she really needed that to help her stand out a little bit more. Donjin's design is so good. The red is the main focus and an item that is important to the character, that being her little moon necklace charm, is a contrasting teal, so it stands out right in the center. The black and white complements the red and is not overwhelming like many of the other Wuwa designs so far. I do think a little splash of red in the shoes could have helped balance the design, but other than that, this is super solid. Having her eyes be a nice blue is also a really pretty touch. I might end up building her just because of how beautiful this design is. And I hope we get to see her in the story soon. Here comes the unit I downloaded the game for. Look at that face! Encore's got pink hair, horns, and plushies. What more could I ask for? Jokes aside, her design screams sheep, and considering how hard that storyline was hit in 1.0, I will be shocked if she's not the little girl from that one village, or if she doesn't have a connection to Scar in some way. Her black and white sheep motif shows clearly, but the pink is spread evenly through her design, making it so the two colors aren't overwhelming. I don't see why she has two tufts of white hair framing her face, as so many characters have white hair somewhere in their design, but Thankfully for her, it's small enough to where it can go unnoticed, but I still don't think it's completely necessary. Listen, I saw someone on Twitter say her design looks like she got attacked with scissors, and that person put my thoughts exactly into words. I mean, look at this. The crazy different layers of hair, the different cuts in her outfit from the top to the bottom, and what do the straps around her back do? They don't even hold anything. Why is it even there? Her thigh-high boots are okay, but honestly the rest of her outfit is so distracting I didn't even notice it. When I first opened the game, I also thought the bow was part of her hair, until I began to play. What's holding it up? I still picked the female rover in the end, but I'm not a huge fan of this design at all. I don't mind if she shows skin, but make it make sense. I'm so sorry, Genshin lovers. I do not like this design. She falls victim to the overused black-white color palette of our version 1.0 roster, though at least we have some green splashed in there, which is good. I think the reason why I struggle to enjoy this design is because there's a detailed dissonance between the upper half and lower half. Look at how detailed even the middle to the legs are, but if you look upwards towards the arms and the head, there's not a ton going on in comparison. Either she needs less detail, or more detail to help balance her out. I do think the Longohoge is a nice touch though, but the lack of balance in the design just makes her feel incomplete to me. If you told me that this man was the general, I'd believe you. Gion is covered up for the most part, and his vitals are protected. Even his neck has protection, which is so important. This man is ready to fight and take hits if necessary. I also really like the black and teal color palette. The reason why I bring up occupation and character design is because sometimes I really question it when it comes to character design. For example, our favorite jellyfish Kokomi from Genshin Impact. Before you Kokomi lovers come at me, she's great, I use her a ton myself and love the design, but nothing about her design tells me she's the leader of an army during a war. I would quicker believe Ayaka or even Noelle from Genshin is the general because they have armor on their design. Kokomi has so much skin and even her stomach is exposed. Yes, she can heal, but why as a leader expose yourself to such vital hits? Goro, who is the general, has the same issue, by the way. So it's just refreshing to see a general whose clothes are suited for combat for the most part. My boy. My poor boy. Oh gosh, would you look at the time. Thankfully it's not as bad with him as we have some red splashed in. I also like that his pants are universally the Lion Dancer pants in the game. If you were to walk around the city, you'll find the other Lion Dancer troop members with the same pants as Liyue. It helps him feel as if he's more of the troop design-wise. He's got unique as hell hair. If you played the companion quest, you know why, and he is quite the endearing character. I think the black headband was a smart move to help bring attention to the ears and also separate all that hair he has in front. Also, the pants being torn at the bottom is a nice touch too, showing that he does find himself in fights. There's subtle details that tell a story, but again, just that darned color palette. It's our standard male protagonist, everyone. I'm just kidding. I know it's easy to look at any anime character with black hair and this haircut and lump them all together. I gotta say, I much prefer male Rover's design over female Rover's. His outfit is a lot more cohesive and makes sense for the role he plays in the game. Those clothes looks like they'll protect him should he have to take a hit or roll down a hill. Meanwhile, the poor female Rover will just get cut right up. I think my perfect Rover design would be to take the female Rover and give her male Rover's outfit, especially the jacket. How cool would she be with that jacket? Overall, I see where the complaints come from, but honestly, it's a simple but effective design in my opinion. Okay, he is so cool. The red hair, the dragon arm with the scales crawling across his chest. We've got the lab coat to show his profession, and do you see that arm strap around the dragon arm? In fact, I think it goes down the entire arm as if he's trying to suppress the dragon scale arm. Such a cool detail. I'm not sure if he needed that rat tail with the hair, but I don't hate it. I really hope we get to interact with Mortefi in the story more, because this design alone tells us that he's got a backstory waiting for us to uncover, and that is hard to do in a character design. So in my opinion, they really nailed Mortefi's design. The mark being in her in her eye is such a unique touch. Her outfit, while being primarily black, is such a cool outfit. I'm not sure if it's the best suited for someone who's supposed to be a bodyguard, but I suppose there is always the look cool rule for Sanhua. Unfortunately, because of the redundant character palette choice, her design tends not to be as memorable as it could have been. As I mentioned earlier, this color palette you're going to continuously see is this black, white, and gold color palette. We've seen a few examples, and there's gonna be more to come. Regardless, though, she's a cool character, and all of the black works with how it's broken up for her specifically. Welcome to the other character who has insane booba physics. Much like Encore, her third color is pink, and it's nicely distributed among her design. Though if you told me this character was in charge of the city defenses, I would not get that from this design. I'd like to see her with more armor. Give her some knee and elbow pads at the very least. At least we do have her wielding a heavier sword. I think that's what it is anyway. But her theme is completely missed here. At a first glance, I would think Tao Chi is a regular adventurer, not someone with an important role as a defense management, especially with how the story progresses at the end. While I'm not a huge fan of Verina's hairstyle, the design is easily one of the most striking of the cast. It's a breath of fresh air from all of the black fabric and white fabric we've seen. I can easily tell looking at her that she is related to nature in some sort of way, and that is a huge plus. I don't have any critiques to say about this design other than the hairstyle, which is, again, a personal preference thing. This video is opinion related, of course. They did a good job making her look different from the majority of the cast, seeing as she's not from Jinzhou, and her theme is clear as day from her design alone. And fun fact, Verina was actually my first 5-star I pulled, and she's been a super valuable unit to the team, so I'm glad she's there. I'm going to try really hard to set my bias aside, as the enjoyment for this character did drop after the VA performance. If you know, you know. Looking only at the design, I like the blue and black palette. I also think the hair that turns into bird feathers is interesting, but I think she would look better if the feathers didn't fade into white. It's awkward since there's no other white in her design, and it stands out in a sore thumb and not in a good way. If her hair feathers were a variation of blue, that could complement her design far more in my opinion. Usually I don't mind using a different color to make a feature of a character pop. I mean, look at my model for example. But in her instance, it's just distracting. Genlin is a popular character, and I can definitely see why. She's got vibrant red hair, but her outfit is primarily black, which does tend to fall within a lot of what we've seen so far. As I'm recording this, Yinlin has not come out yet, so I don't have a ton to say, but I'm looking forward to seeing her story and how she plays a part in Wuwa's plot. But as someone who does like red-haired characters, I think she looks pretty neat. Hey look! Facial hair! This design is also refreshing to see, especially in a gacha game. The vest, while being slightly asymmetrical, isn't distracting and looks nice. The blue is also appreciated, especially since Yuan Wu also has lots of black fabric on his attire. The hat and that one part of his vest being white I think is a little strange. I feel like it could have just been the same blue as the rest and could have been fine, similar to Yang Yang and her feathers. I saw some people hating on this design, and while I don't think it's anything earth-shattering, I do think it's pretty solid. Okay, that covers every playable character and scarf. Whopping 8 characters fall victim to the black, white, and gold color palette. This includes both rovers, by the way. And once Jinshi releases, she would probably be added to this list as well. Out of the 18 playable characters so far, that's almost half of the roster with a similar color palette. And this doesn't even include the characters that have primarily black color palettes either, which would be an additional 4 units. Either the Wuwa design team really likes this color combo, or maybe this was an intentional choice for the Jinzhou characters. Maybe once we get to see other regions of the game, we'll be introduced to characters with different color palettes that helps set them apart from our current cast, who knows? The unfortunate thing is that a lot of good designs end up blending all together because there's not a ton of variety with our current crew. Alternatively, the most memorable characters in my opinion are going to be ones like Verina, just because she's in complete contrast. If you made it this far and enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up. Remember that this is just one artist's silly opinion, and this is by no means a formal character design analysis. See you next time!